And really, I partially credit that to the clarity that I had around the ideal client, like
Mm.
the who and the what. What problem do I want to solve? Like having that so crystal clear and so dialed in made it really easy to say no to the other things that were tangentially related, but not quite there. And when we had our focus time, we were really able to just drill down deep into that singular problem. One problem. I'm not worried about 5 different problems. I'm worried about one problem. And being able to have your feedback to say, nope, that's not quite there. Let's bring it in more. You sort of like guide me on the path and kind of keep me centered. And with both of us being on the same page like that, it made it so easy to kind of cut through some of the what I would think maybe traditional red tape. Like, oh, that's not going to help us. That's not what we need. We don't need that. We don't need to do this or that. This is what we need to do. And so I think it made that VIP experience way more effective than it could have been if I'd have been like, well, I'm not sure. I don't really know. Maybe, I don't want to leave anybody out. I don't want to leave I don't want any teachers to feel left out. So can we just add this little bit? And no, we didn't do that. We stayed laser focused on our mission. And by combining that, I think that it really became an effective experience that sort of was kind of a launching pad because we
Yeah.
did it in July. And to me, it helped sort of springboard us up so that our trajectory went even higher, as opposed to just kind of piddling around and nitpicking at it and sort of staying small. We went really big, and
Yeah.
I loved it.
And I think a lot of what you're saying is powerful in terms of like creating that sacred container to get this done. Like this is my time and I'm going to go in it. And it seems like you went into that whole time period knowing your tendencies might be a little bit of perfection paralysis and that you didn't want to get stuck in your head. And so you just like went into it. And I did sense like you were really leading with your intuition, even when we were trying to decide on your wardrobe, is like your intuition decided. It's like, you grab like that white jacket that if anybody looks at Kimberly's website, it's www.kimberly-bolton.com. There's a white jacket on there. And I remember when you found it, you just touched it and you're like, yep, this is the one. I know this is the one,
Yep.
and when you landed on something, you're like, yep, that's the one. And then you just went from there. Didn't overthink it, just went with it.
Yes, that really helped a lot. And not only with the wardrobe aspect of doing the photo shoot, but when we were working on copy together too, and again, brand new at this, like I'm newbie skills. So this is like the first time writing a 5-paragraph essay for me. And I would bring you something that I had written. You were like, okay, it's not quite there. And you'd help me with the editing. And when we got it to the like where it met our standards, like it met the goal of what we're trying to do. Both of us, and I remember many times during that week where both of us were like, that's it. Yes, that. And we did it. And that really helped for me. It helped. Well, I learned a lot, so I gained some new skills, and I'm trying very hard to incorporate those skills into the way that I write now. And it gave me that sense of confidence that working on this project with you, was worthwhile and valuable, and it was going to happen. Like, this is going to happen. We're really doing it. As opposed to like taking months and months and like, oh my God, I'm never going to get there. Like in 1 week, I was like, we're going to do this. Like, this is really, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to ask a question just as somebody who's, not on the not I'm on the other side of 40, let's just put it that way, as you are as well.
Yes, we are women of a certain age.
Having a photo shoot can sometimes feel very vulnerable. When you're getting a lot of pictures and you're posing and it always feels kind of awkward, where you got like this and it's like this is down here and like how did you feel doing the photo shoot? I don't have any jitters.
I did. I was very anxious going into the photo shoot. Um, Yes, I'm a woman of a certain age, and certain gravitational pulls are a little more affecting me now. And I didn't know how those pictures were going to look. I had, that little critic. Oh, they're not going to be good. You're not going to get any good shots out of this. This is not going to work, and again, having to do the whole trust the professionals, trusting first of all, we interviewed a really good photographer who was aware of visual branding. They weren't just like a wedding photographer or a personal photo photographer. They were actually a business branding photographer as well. And so they really knew their stuff. And when we had our interview time to talk with them about, okay, so what is it that you're trying to do? What are your color palettes? What's the type of website that you're trying to build? And they asked some great questions. And we asked them great questions back. Well, okay, you asked them great questions, but can
I love
listen in
for so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So we really got a sense together of how we were going to co-create these pictures. And so on the day of the shoot, I did hair and makeup. Thank you for arranging that for me. Was definitely an unusual experience for me in my daily life. I don't wear makeup. And I remember saying to you several times, like, I feel so pretty. I feel so pretty. Like, I feel really pretty today. Like, it wasn't too much. It wasn't, I didn't look garish, but I looked pretty. And so kind of that sort of helped allay a little bit of my anxiety. And then when the photographer came in and set up and started talking to us about the types of pictures we were going to do and what did we want to add and how did we want to accomplish our stated goals, and then leaning again, like, she's been doing this for a long time. I can trust that what she has to offer is going to be way more than what I know how to do. So trust the process, lean in hard, and just check your story. The story I'm telling myself is I'm not going to get any good pictures out of this. Is that true? Is that really true? Of course, it's not really true. I'm going to get some good pictures out of it. And again, our photographer worked really hard to capture some great shots. She let us see stuff on her camera in the middle of the shoot, like, ooh, that looks really good. And her positive feedback in the middle of the session also helped allay my fears. Like, okay, we are going to get some good pictures out of this. And yeah, I'm looking cute today. And I like this white jacket. And I like these clothes. I feel good in the things that I'm wearing and the way that I'm looking today. And just how we navigated the photo shoot. It all came together by the end of the shoot, I was laughing, and we had a bottle of champagne that we used to kind of like pop the cork and toast. And I was toasting the champagne and like toasting to a launch, and hopefully going to use some of those pictures now that I'm launching my site. Like, this was it turned out to be 1,000% better than I ever imagined it could be.
I love so many things that you're saying. And it's like you're taking me back to how much fun it was to have the photo shoot. But really, ultimately, a lot of the best practices that you had that allowed you to go from idea to launch within 90 days is, number one, it seems like you did a lot of inner work before we even got started. You got your tools down around, how am I going to handle these things? So you planned in advance for where these emotional hiccups were going to we're going to be for you, and really identifying that. Second is you created more of a visual process that inspired you about your ideal client, that kind of kept you focused and moving. And then when it came down to doing like the heavy lifting of your branding, clarifying, what you're going to offer, turning it into website copy, getting your visual branding down, and getting your photography, a lot of it sounds like is that you dedicated the time, close off all the other noise around like the other things that you were doing in your work and your life and all those other things. And it's like, I'm going to get focused. And that allowed you to do that while you relied on other people, because you didn't have that. It sounds like what was really missing for you is you never really struggled with that, I should already know how to do this myth. A lot of the clients I deal with is that I should already know how to do this myth. And it sounds like you never had that because you were clear from the beginning is I shouldn't know how to do this. And therefore I will learn how to do